Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today we're going to be looking at how I almost got a really good first personal best in Minecraft RSG speedrunning. It was about 30 minutes. RSG stands for Random Seed Glitchless. It's where you beat Minecraft on a random seed without the use of glitches as quickly as possible. But the keyword here is almost in the title. If you saw this video, you know what happened. Yes, that's a Roblox video, but anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the video. I hope you enjoy. Here we are in the run before it. So this just shows the deletion of that world and the creation of the next world here. So this is the world, and here's the creation of it. Very exciting, I know. Once I spawn in, I do the pie chart thing. It's kind of complicated, but basically, the pie chart down in the bottom right, I can look at that to figure out what's around me. So I can see that there are certain things such as a bell. I think only a bell is the only thing indicating of this village here. So I can figure out certain things about the village, such as the fact that there's no blacksmith because there's no furnace showing up on there. Basically, that's set to show block entities, such as chests and furnaces. Anyway, basically what I'm doing at the village here, I'm making some tools and getting food, as well as beds for the one cycle of the Ender Dragon at the end. While I'm doing that, is something you probably don't care about, is that I actually timed this with my iPad, and the timer you see in the top right, that was actually I just sat around for the past hour, just letting that record that so I could use that here. I will be trying to get the actual timer that most top runners, and not even just for Minecraft, use. Here I'm taking out the iron golem. These can drop 3 to 5 iron, and I actually end up getting 5 here, which is great. Now I would preferably have 7 iron, which is enough to make a flint and steel, a bucket, and an iron pickaxe. The bucket I need to use a portal because speedrunners use a method using a bucket and lava instead of mining obsidian with a diamond pickaxe because that's faster. 3 for an iron pickaxe to mine gold in the bastion later in the run, and then 1 for flint and steel. So I'm getting food here, and I craft the bucket and fill it up with water, and I also mine the flint here, which I need for flint and steel to light the portal. Now, I only got 5 iron. You can enter the nether without that. However, you just have to hope you get the iron you need in the bastion, because that can spawn in the chests there. What I'm doing at this point is I am looking for a lava pool, which of course I didn't get because, that would just be too convenient. Usually, if you can't find one on the surface, then you'll either reset the run. That's what someone who's going for a really good time would do, or you would dig straight down. So I was gonna dig straight down, but then I saw this ravine, so I jumped down into the water here, because that's a major head start on digging down, instead of having to dig all the way down 60 blocks or however much it is. I blocked myself away from all the mobs, and then I checked my Y level, it's 11, which is where I want to mine to try and find a lava pool. What I could have done here was tried and find some iron in this cave here, and then I could smelt it down while I'm building the portal or something. However, I didn't do that. And the reason I only made a wooden pickaxe was because if I had found a lava pool, then I really only need the iron pickaxe to get the stone for the axe and shovel. But because I'm digging through a bunch of stone, the wooden pickaxe is too slow. So I just went ahead and upgraded that to stone here. Because when this run happened, I wasn't really that good at building portals. I'm still not really too good at it, but enough that I would not have to do something like this. So here's a painfully slow portal building. I'm just kidding, I won't make you sit through that, and then I'd light the portal. Now, I don't have an iron pickaxe because I just decide I'll go ahead and just hope I get it in the bastion. If I didn't get iron in the bastion, then it would probably be a reset for the run. So once I'm in the nether, there are a few things I'm looking for on this F3 screen. I'm collecting blocks while checking this, just because those could be useful. But I'm looking down at the pie chart again, trying to see if there's a mob spawner, indicating a fortress, or if I'm unlucky, or lucky, depending on what you want. It could be a treasure bastion. I'm also looking at the entity counter in the top right corner. I see how many entities there are nearby, and there aren't really that many. So there's no bastion, but I decided to at least try and look around. If I were going for a really good time, then I'd probably just reset the run if there were no bastion nearby, because I can tell based on how many entities there are. I'd still try to do this thing where I lower my FOV and look at this number to see where there are a bunch of entities. If I saw 30 in one direction, then there's most likely a bastion, because that's all the piglins in there. But anyway, now I'm just going through the nether, just pretty much because I don't want to have to reset the run. And the thing is, for some reason, I've entered, probably in my speedrun so far, I've entered the nether 50 times, I would say, which isn't a lot compared to some people with really good times. But anyway, I've gotten like 5 bastions nearby in total, which is like none. Like, it's really annoying, but whatever. And I didn't hear, but luckily when I was running around, I just randomly stumbled across one right as I was getting ready to reset. So I see the bastion right here, and I'm like, oh, okay, finally a bastion. So I collect a couple more blocks here. I don't really know if I need that, but at first I think this is the stables type, because basically there are 4 types of bastions, and being able to identify them is good because then you can know where the gold is. So at first I think this is stables. In a second I realize it's actually housing. So because I have no iron, I have to look in these chests first before I can go and actually mine up the gold, because you need an iron pickaxe or better to actually mine it. So I can either go like above, so hopefully the piglins don't get mad at me for opening the chest. I try to open it here, but I just can't. And I also don't have gold armor, so the piglins are going to be mad at me anyway. Eventually I get the chest open. There are some things in there that are good. I put on those gold boots, so now I have gold boots on. So I need that crossbow, and I eventually throw it out, which ends up kinda being a big mistake. You'll see later. Neither of these chests had iron. These 2 I dug underneath so the piglins wouldn't see me and get mad at me. This one also doesn't have any iron. Well, it has some iron nuggets, and I go ahead and grab those just in case because they could be useful. And then I also grabbed those arrows and some more string as well. I checked this chest too, no iron. However, I do have 10 obsidian, which means I have enough to blind travel even if the piglins somehow give me 0. So basically I have no iron, and I'm pretty sure I still think that it's stables at this point. So I'm like, okay, I'll go down here. Then I see this nether wart farm thing in the middle here, and only housing has that. So I'm like, okay, this is actually housing. So I had that wrong. In housing, there's a chest right here. Once I open the chest, it actually does have the iron. I need 3 for the pickaxe. I also got enough nuggets to complete a 4th ingot, not that I need that. So I very am much confused here on what I'm doing, but there we go. I craft the iron pickaxe finally. Put it where the stone pickaxe was in my hotbar. If I already had an iron pickaxe, I would probably do the top-down route, where I go where there were a bunch of chests earlier. Basically, I get the piglins mad at me, either by breaking chests or gold or something, and then they all chase me down to the gold room, which I'm digging to right here. You'll see it in a second. Basically, I want a bunch of piglins in one spot, because that will make the trading be a lot more efficient. So yeah, so basically I didn't do either that route or manhunt, which is another route where you start from that nether wart farm thing. I couldn't really do it here anyway because the floor was lava and not like netherrack. There are already like 3 piglins that just follow me down, because in this version they get mad as soon as you mine gold, even if they don't directly see it. So basically I'm mining all this gold and I'm gonna trade it to them. I also look at some chests as well while the trading is going on. So what I'm trying to get from the bastion here is a few different things. So I want to get, I only grabbed 2 beds from the village, which is actually okay because the piglins give me string, which I can convert to wool for the beds. I'm also trying to get pearls, also some fire resistances. If you don't get them, like sometimes you can still work with it, but yeah, you usually get a bunch of those. And then also obsidian. I actually already got the 10 obsidian. However, what I can actually do, if I get 20 or more, I can do something called educated travel. Blind travel, which is what I would do if I just had 10. I just blind out of the nether at optimal coordinates so that I'm hopefully close to the stronghold. If I get 20 or more, then I can do educated travel, which is where you blind travel first and then do something called triangulation with the Eyes of Ender to calculate how far and in what direction the stronghold is, approximately. Then you go back into the nether and then build a second portal. Anyway, I actually do end up getting enough obsidian for that, but I actually don't end up doing educated travel. You'll see why later. And now I'm doing something kind of complicated here. So I'm basically manipulating my render distance and checking the pie chart again down in the top right, or in the bottom right corner, to see when a mob spawner does and doesn't pop up, to figure out what direction the fortress is in. If I were unlucky, then it would be a treasure bastion, but luckily it ends up not actually being that. It's kind of complicated to explain how I'm doing that, so we'll just go ahead and speed this up. When I go through this chunk and see the little blue segment pop up on the thing, on the pie chart, that tells me that there's a fortress or treasure bastion in that direction. That's where the spawner is. So I'm like, okay, that's the direction I need to go. I have only 1 fire resistance, which is okay, but like I would really love more, but it's fine. After deciding I have everything I need, I just start pearling in that direction since I have so many ender pearls. I do the fire resistance so I don't have to be super careful, and I can just chuck it in lava if I want to. After traveling around for a bit, I noticed the fortress, and so what I want to do now is collect some blaze rods. Blazes have a 50% chance of dropping a blaze rod. If I was on a really good pace, then probably I'd leave on 6 blaze rods. The reason that's a bit risky is because the end portal has 12 like spots to put in the things. Each blaze rod converts to 2 blaze powder. So 6 converts to 12 eyes. However, when you throw an eyeball, it has a chance to break. And so it's sometimes okay if that happens because sometimes the end portal has some eyes already in it. If you leave on 6, you're hoping that for any of them that break, there's an eyeball already in the portal, in the end portal. To make up for that. So if I were on like world record pace, then I would definitely live on 6. There's no question about it. So I actually get a wither skeleton skull from this wither skeleton. I don't notice it for a minute, but it's really crazy. There's a ton of blazes in this area right here, even though there's no spawner, but I don't know why that was. But anyway, I killed them all. I got some rods. Then I actually noticed that I got the wither skull now, and so I put it on because like, you know, I can't just not. Here I found the blaze spawner finally, so I go ahead and start killing them. But you might notice my fire resistance ran out, so yeah, I guess I noticed it here probably, because that's where I'm starting to catch on fire. So now I have to be more careful fighting these blaze rods so I don't end up dying. The reason I'm mining out the floor here is because that can make it so that more blazes spawn at a time. After killing blazes for a bit, I decided to check how many rods I have. I have 8, and so I'm like, okay, that's plenty. So here's where I'm going to do the first educated travel. I would want to go to optimal coordinates, but I can't really pearl around anymore because I don't have any more fire resistance. So I was planning to do educated since I had educated travel, since I had enough obsidian. And this is terrible coordinates, I think, for blind traveling or educated traveling, but I'm like, just portal out here, I don't care. I spawn here at this village, and it takes me a minute to realize, but I actually got lucky by spawning next to a village because I wanted more beds since I hadn't really practiced the 1 cycle much. And I really didn't want to fail the 1 cycle. That's some heavy foreshadowing though. Oh, I threw out that crossbow. That ended up being a mistake. I was getting really nervous at this point. So you could see in my mouse, I'm just like shaking it all over the place because I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. I mean, I know what to do, but like I'm looking around my inventory frantically. So I was kind of running low on food. But since I wasn't really thinking straight, I didn't think to grab more food from this village here. Anyway, I try to do triangulation here. At this point, I've decided, no, I'm not going to do educated travel. I do it terribly, though, because I was really nervous. I look at the angle and calculate how far it was. I did the triangulation terribly, so I just had no idea. So I just decided to go in that direction for however many blocks. It turns out that the blind travel, which I checked after the run, it was actually like 1,500 blocks. I don't know if that's good or bad for where I actually portaled out, but yeah, since I have so many pearls, I decided to just start throwing them because that'll speed up the process. I think around here somewhere is where I realize, since you take damage throwing pearls, I'm like, I need to use food to heal up. Oh, I should have grabbed food from the village. But I'm like, oh well. But I used the fire charges. I could have used the flint and steel, but I do that to kill some animals around for some food. Except I'm pretty sure this amount of bread probably would have been enough, but yeah. So once I get to this plains, I decide it's time to, I think I threw some eyes along the way to getting here. I decided it's time to try and triangulate for real this time. And also it started raining, so my frames just completely died. This was a pretty bad triangulation still. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to calculate it out, but then I realized, wait a second, like I was like 2 chunks away. Like you could see just how big of an angle change that was. So I'm like, oh wait, the stronghold's like right here. So I turn on chunk borders and throw some eyes to try and figure out which chunk it's in. When I see the eye go down right here, I'm 100% certain that this is the chunk that it's in. Now I go to 4, 4 in the chunk. Well, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, anything that's like a 3 or 4 or 5 right there. That's where the starter staircase is. It's like, if I dig down at like 3, 4, or 5 on both of those first and third numbers, and I'm sure that that's the chunk, then I'm guaranteed to find the stronghold. And I'm not taking any chances, so I'm digging down safely here instead of straight down. And right here, I find the stronghold. This is the starter staircase. That's what, I don't know if it's like officially called that, but that's what everyone calls it. Every stronghold, it starts generating with that staircase and then one of these 5-way rooms. Now what I'm doing is looking for the portal room. Now that I found the portal room, it's a 2-eye, so not that really matters since I got so many blaze rods. I break the silverfish spawner, even though I jump down and they can't get to me anyway. Once I place my 2 eyes in, I don't have time to like take a deep breath. I kind of hesitate there, like thinking, is there anything else? No. And so like I can't take a deep breath and get like ready for the end fight because this is a speed run. So at this point, I'm starting to realize, oh my gosh, I'm in the end. This could be my first RSG PB. 30 minutes in the end for my first ever speedrun. That's really good. Like for a lot of people, it's like 15 minutes slower than this. Now I'm going to set up the 1 cycle here. Yeah, so I craft a bunch of beds and I'm setting up my hotbar for the 1 cycle. And I can kind of just throw everything out since I don't really need it anymore. I start towering up into the sky because that makes it so that the dragon has a higher chance to perch. And the dragon like snaps its head back towards the center. It was pretty unnoticeable in this case, but I still caught it. That's it perching. So yeah, basically all I had to do to finish the run was time these beds correctly and kill the dragon. But then this happened. Aside from me not having practiced the one cycle that much and nerves getting the best of me, let's break down what exactly happened here. That first hit was pretty good. The second hit was atrocious. This one was really good. That one was okay. But then I mess up the hotkeys, and then, yeah, you can see I'm spam clicking, but I'm on the wrong slot. Like, you can tell I'm spam clicking because I'm trying to eat the bread. And so I try to go back in for another hit. That does terribly. I hit the sick half a heart clutch right there. Then I'm trying to think, I'll take out the crystals here and then take out the dragon the normal way, like the intended way. Since I threw out the crossbow, I couldn't shoot down the crystal, so I had to stack up, but then the dragon just kills me. If I had have saved that crossbow, I could have maybe saved the run. Maybe it wasn't a huge fatal mistake, but this is more dramatic if it is. Well, that's gonna be the end of the video. I do hope you enjoyed. And since the speedrun has happened, I've practiced the one cycle a bunch. And either way, I'm going to get a faster time than this eventually anyway. So, yeah. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. So I'll see you in the next one, and have a great day.